No sissies allowed in this business. All right, welcome back to the channel, and this video is called No Sissies Allowed in the Storage Auction Business. And this can apply to the resale business also. It can honestly apply to a lot of business in general, just starting any kind of business, even if it might seem like a white collar business or something to do with computers. It's a no sissies allowed thing. What I mean by that is you got to be ready to work. You got to put in the work. You're going to put in long, hard hours, a lot of times lonely hours. And what I mean by that is when nobody else is around, you're still working, you're still pushing, you're still driving. A lot of people, as long as somebody else is there with them, I've seen people that work like that. If there's somebody else right beside them, they can work and whatever, at least for certain periods of time. But when nobody's around, it's a whole different story. They don't have that drive, that initiative to keep on pushing. But the storage auction business, like I said, some of these principles apply to other businesses, because all businesses that you start, have some varying degree of toughness, whether it be mental toughness, whether it be physical toughness. But the storage auction business, man, it can be really, really tough. You got to fight the elements, the rain, the snow, the sleet, the sun, you name it. It can be really hot, it can be really cold, but you still got to get out there and load those units. And from day to day, it changes. And sometimes on a dime, you can be out here and nice and sunny one minute, it's pouring down rain, and you can sit there and wait it out. But a lot of times you just got to get out there and do it, because if you're running a real business, man, it doesn't stop. You got to get things done. So that's why you see us out in the rain, out in the hot, sweating our butts off. We're always out there, always busting our butts, because that's what you got to do. You got to be ready to deal with spiders, spider webs, roaches, rats, mice, snakes, all that kind of thing you can find in units, or you can find their evidence, or find what they left behind in units, the rat droppings and all that kind of thing. You can't be afraid to get your hands dirty. I mean, you can wear gloves, probably the best thing to do would be to wear gloves, but you're gonna have to be ready. Sometimes, I mean, literally from head to toe filthy. I mean, I've gone home and my nostrils, I start get a Kleenex, and just black dirt, that from the units being so dusty and nasty. And you can't be afraid of getting dirty. If you're afraid of there's gross stuff, there's no way around it. I mean, sometimes you're moving a big, heavy, floppy mattress, and you're trying to not touch it a whole lot, but that thing starts to go over. Next thing you know, that thing hits you in the side of the face. There's really no way around it. If you're going to be in this business, you can't be scared to get dirty. You can't be scared to work. And when it comes to work, you're going to work your butt off. And for a lot of people, you're going to work harder than you've ever worked in your whole life. But that's the reason why there's so much opportunity out here in the resale business and with storage units, because people don't want to work. So if you're willing to work, there's plenty of opportunity, plenty of chances to make money out here. But when it comes to work, it's like, if you've ever moved or helped somebody move, it's a lot of work. You'll be exhausted at the end of the day. But just imagine doing that over and over again, sometimes multiple times a week, even multiple times a day, moving, big loads of stuff. And sometimes you buy a unit and it's literally everything that these people own, whole entire house worth of stuff in one unit, or you might buy multiple units that equals up to that amount. But it's a lot of work. And like I said, there's no sissies allowed. If you're gonna be in this business, then you gotta be ready for it to be gross, for it to be nasty, to work. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna have stuff fall over and hit your toe. You're gonna have a piece of glass, like this happened to me one time, a piece of glass from a picture, the glass pane tips over, and the front of it kind of scraped down the front of your leg, and scrape the skin off the front of your leg. You're gonna go to move something tall, something's gonna fall off the top of it that you didn't know was up there. It's gonna hit you in the head. So you got to be careful. That's one thing actually you want to be very careful of when you go to move something very tall. Definitely try to check on top, because if there's like a piece of glass laying up there and you go to move and it comes down and hits you, that could be bad. So you want to be smart, definitely as smart as you can, but all the preparation you do, all the being cautious, you're gonna get dinged, you're gonna get dinged, you're gonna get nicked, you're gonna get cut and scraped, and you're gonna get filthy, and you're gonna go home, you're gonna be tired, you're gonna be worn out, every muscle in your whole body's gonna ache when you've had a whole day of moving a big giant unit full of furniture. Or when the people take a wardrobe box, and it's like a big old tall box that's made, it has a pipe on the not a pipe, but a rod on the top, and it's made to hang clothes in. So it's just made for clothing, and a lot of the part on the bottom is gonna be empty. But you'll have people, they'll take a box that big, you know, about almost up to your chest here, and they'll fill that thing all the way with books. But you got to get it. You bought the unit, you got to take everything in there, and that thing is full of books, and you got to move it. And then you go to another one, it's full of books. Then you go to the next one they have, it's full of paperwork. Then you go to the next one they have, and it's full of dishes. And sometimes you get a unit, it's like these people, everything they had was heavy, and they packed these huge boxes. But you got to deal with it. So like I said, you're gonna work your butt off. No sissies allowed. But that's the deal, you know, with this business, with the resale business. You know, even if you're not doing storage units, I mean, it's a whole nother level of work. If you're out there, if you physically, you just can't do that, you know, if you just can't move the heavy stuff and don't want to put yourself through it, or you just can't, then picking is probably your better option. You know, going out to yard sales, estate sales, or whatever the case is, thrift stores, and trying to find, you know, single one-off items that you can flip. You know, even that's a lot of work. Anything you do is a lot of work. Getting up every day and being consistent and making things happen, it's a lot of work. And you know, that's why a lot of people don't make it happen, because you got to be consistent. When you go and you work your butt off one day and you know you're wore out, you still got to get up the next day and you got to do it again, and you got to do it again, and you got to be consistent and repeat that over and over again. And when you kind of get ahead and you have a really good day selling, I mean, yeah, it's good to take a day off sometimes, but if you really want to move to that next level, when you've had a good day and you're tired, and you're like, oh, I could just take the day off and I'm fine, I could, you know, I got all my stuff paid for. If you go out there and you do it again when you're already ahead and you're past where you want to be, you go out and do that again, then you move up even higher. You get even further along, and you know, you just kind of go into hyperdrive and you keep going, you know, further and further. That's what happens when you're consistent and you keep working, you busting your butt, and that's the name of the game here. Now, there is always a time when, you know, you got to work smarter, not harder, and times where you need to delegate and stuff like that. That's a whole nother video talking about delegating and hiring people and all that kind of thing. But to get to that point, you're gonna have to bust your butt, you're gonna have to work, you're gonna have to sweat, you're gonna have to bleed, and you're gonna have to be nasty and filthy with dirt in your fingernails, calluses on your hands, dirt up your nostrils, dirt in your ears. And then when you go look in the mirror, when you went to a store to go get something, you go to the bathroom and look in the mirror and you got cobwebs going all across the top of your head or hat, and you got dirt here on the side of your face and you didn't even realize it, and people are probably looking at you like, why are you so filthy? You know, that's the kind of stuff you're gonna have to do. That's what it takes in this business, and if you really want to be successful, you know, that's how it is. But it's rewarding, it'll pay off, and in the long run, you know, hopefully you'll get to a level where you're not doing all that yourself, but you're gonna have to put in that work to get to, you know, to move up a level, to get to that point where you can delegate and stuff. But that's pretty much it for this video. It's kind of common sense. Everybody knows, you know, you got to work, but I don't think some people realize how much work is involved with storage auctions specifically, and that's why there's so much opportunity, because the majority of people, they don't want to work, they're not going to put in the work, and they're going to quit. They're not going to be able to do it consistently. All right, so that's it for this video. So if you want to watch more videos like this and us going through storage units, buying pallets, and all that good stuff, subscribe to the channel. Also hit the like button, like this video, leave us a comment, and y'all have a good one.